Sexual abuse in sports, sadly, is nothing new, and in some cases, it can go on for years. To better protect athletes, the Spokane Zephyr and Velocity have a specific person working right alongside their teams to report abuse or misconduct. The Zephyr athletes tell me they want to grow the game and grow it safely.
And from there, no doubt about this one. She buries the PK, and there is your first goal in Spokane Zephyr history.
Spokane Zephyr center midfielder Amina Ekic is a pro when it comes to handling pressure on the pitch.
Don't get me wrong, I was physically tired after the game, but I don't think people realize how emotional. I think it's a great thing that we're talking about and getting into.
Mental health and safety of athletes has been championed by sports stars at the highest level, including Olympians Simone Biles, Michael Phelps, and Ilona Maher.
All body types are beautiful and can do amazing things.
In the last 2 years, the spotlight turned to women's professional soccer when abuse allegations finally bubbled to the surface.
Obviously, the women's side, especially speaking like on soccer and like other sports, has gone through things that it should not have gone through.
Former Deputy Attorney General Sally Yates released this independent investigation with interviews from more than 100 current and former athletes from the National Women's Soccer League and the national team, with some abuse dating all the way back to youth soccer.
We need to empower more people to say, this is not okay.
We met up with Molly Schemmel at One Spokane Stadium. She has a new job you likely haven't heard of, a Designated Safeguarding Officer, or DSO. Molly tells me this is the first year the United Soccer League is requiring all teams to have a DSO. It's in response to the Yates report and nearly 2 decades of sexual abuse by ex-USA gymnastics physician Larry Nassar.
When people started saying there seems to be a pattern here, but who's the one that was willing to stick their neck out, right? Because somebody had to at some point to say, this person who has this very high level position for, the United States Women's Olympic Gymnastic team is a bad guy. Who's willing to put their reputation on the line to try to take someone like that down?
As the DSO, Molly is independent from the club's owner, the general manager, and the commissioner of the league. Her role is to take reports from players straight to the league to conduct an investigation immediately.
The people that one could report to was a coach, a GM, an owner, who all had a stake in it.
The stakes are high, especially for athletes who make it to the pros.
The NWSL, the National Women's Soccer League, was all there was for a professional female soccer player in this country. What are you willing to put up with to keep that?
Molly calls her role one piece of generational change in sports culture.
As the administration for those entities have to be committed to the change and to a new way, and that maybe winning isn't everything, that maybe lives are more important.
And that's why the Spokane Zephyr and Spokane Velocity participate in Safe Sport training. The online database and confidential reporting resource allows athletes, parents, administrators, and coaches to report abuse or misconduct. And parents can also check to see if a coach is suspended or has had their eligibility restricted. For Molly, it's a plan to make all sports better and safer.
You can be a part of change. You can be a part of it by demanding something different, by keeping your eyes and your ears open. And if you see something that you just think this just can't be right, report it.
And for Amina, it's about inspiring and protecting the youngest athletes growing up with women's professional sports right in their backyard.
We want to leave it better than we found it, and I think that's what we're doing all together, not just the players, but the staff, behind the scenes, Molly, designated safety officer, so that's the goal.
So Safe Sport has actually been around since 2017. It's not new. They've gotten thousands of reports and increased their investigations and the people behind them to meet that demand.
And coaches who participate in SYSA here in Spokane are Safe Sport trained. I had to do it for youth soccer, YMCA basketball for a number of years when I was coaching. But what about the coaches at our local schools?
So that was the question we had. We asked a lot of the districts in our area if they knew about the program Safe Sport. Spokane Public Schools was the only district that got back to me. So they say FBS coaches complete the WIAA coaches training requirements as well as clearance through our usual HR process. Safe Sport is typically used by other athletic entities that don't have a clearance process. But Molly hopes Safe Sport training becomes so mainstream in the future that we just don't need it anymore. But it's going to take a lot of people demanding that change, and expectations are going to have to adjust for coaches, for athletes, and for parents to make this generational change, as she called it.